Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL prediction segment, I'm going to be giving you my picks for the AFC North for the 2014-15 season and the predicted order of finish. Now, I have the Baltimore Ravens in first place, winning the division title. Despite their defense not being as ravenous as it used to be, I still believe this is the supreme team in the division. They have an unflappable quarterback by the name of Joe Flacco. Last season they lost 5 games by 6 points or fewer. They could very well reverse it this season. Now, the last time the Ravens finished under 500 in consecutive seasons was 1998 and 1999. They didn't even finish under 500 last season, so it should tell you about the winning history of this team. Now, it's a perennial playoff contender, and I believe it has been a number of years since they have missed the postseason in back-to-back seasons. I don't anticipate it this year. Now, last year, despite being the first season of without Ray Lewis in some time, they were number 12 in total defense. But they allowed 22 points per game last season. They'd like to improve on that a little bit. Now, the question is, was last season an aberration or a harbinger of things to come? I believe it was the former. Now, they also added wide receiver Steve Smith and safety Darian Stewart on this team, so that should that will really help them immensely on both sides of the ball, and it will be enough to get them into the postseason. Now, second place, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Bengals, a lot of you know, are a perennial good regular season team. They have quarterback Andy Dalton, who really seems to flourish during the regular season. The team was 8-0 at home in 2013. They've also made the postseason 4 of the last 5 seasons, but they've made a first-round departure each time. Last year they were trounced by the Chargers 27-10. So we see the common denominator. They play very well in the regular season. They actually were in the top 6 as far as points per game scoring offense and scoring defense. So to me, this is a team that just needs to somehow apply this during the postseason. Now, maybe the problem is they just have trouble against upper echelon teams, and they have the propensity to beat teams that are somewhat mediocre or below average during the regular season. The postseason comes along, they have their difficulties. I still think it's plausible for them to win 9 or 10 games and get in as a wild card. They lost linebacker James Harrison and defensive end Michael Johnson, but I still believe they have so much balance that it would be almost impossible for them to miss the postseason. I think they get in second place in the division as a wild card. Now, third place, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, in seasons past, we used to look at them in past 2 seasons prior to this when we could say the age and attrition thing. Well, they did add some young people onto their defense, and this team has a balance of veterans and people that are young and might be have a little bit more exuberance in them, or whatever you would call it. Linebacker James Harrison will return. This will give them a good inspiration. Now, it's inspirational to them, but we have to, I ask, is this going to help them in a really big, prodigious way? I mean, I really don't know. Quarterback Ben Roethlisberger is the mainstay of this team, arguably. I think he's going to have a solid season. He'll throw most likely for over 4,000 yards, and they'll need to keep the Steelers competitive this season. Now, 2011 was their last winning season, 12-4. Last 2 seasons, 8-8. Kind of see a trend. I believe it's going to be another 8-8 season for this team, unfortunately. Last season was the first time the Steelers did not finish in the top 10 in total defense in 15 seasons. Now, I don't know if that's a harbinger of things to come. They were number 13 last season. And also they were number 14 in scoring defense, giving up 23.1 points per game. But they have enough components on the team to be competitive. I don't think they can win the division, but 8-8 seems plausible and conceivable for this team. Now, last but not least, I have the Cleveland Browns. Now, Johnny Manziel, obviously giving some hype and elation to this team, new floundering franchise, might enliven this team and bring some notoriety, get some headlines, but I don't think it's going to be enough for them to get out of the cellar this season. I think they will be cellar dwellers again, and I see them at 4-12 this season. Now they got some motivation. They're going to come out and try to show that this is a different team. It's a rejuvenated, revived franchise. But still some questions. Is Manziel ready for the NFL? Are we going to really see similar performance as to what was in college, assuming he does start a number of games this season? Now the team did finish 9th in total defense. That's one thing that's promising for this team. However, they were 20 on offense was a different story. They were 27th in points per game scored, 19.3. Wide receiver Josh Gordon, as most of you know, he will be suspended this season. He said he's not going to appeal this. He will be out for the full 16 games. He accounted for about 38% of the receiving yards in this team. Now whoever they supplant him with, the odds are they're not going to be able to make that up, and that's another reason why it's hard for me to see this team really going anywhere this season. They might be a little more competitive than a lot of people anticipate, but they still have some issues to look at. And now cornerback Justin Gilbert may improve the secondary, which is already solid. It was 8th in passing defense, but that could have been somewhat attributed to maybe teams felt they could run against the Browns as well. So anyway, people, let me just show you my computer's going to give you a rundown real quick of my predicted order of finish and the record. So hold on a second. Okay, lo and behold, first place Baltimore Ravens 10-6, second place wild card Bengals at 9-7, the Steelers third at 8-8, and the Browns at 4-12, fourth place. Well, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL prediction segment for the 2014-15 AFC North. And stay tuned next time, where I will be giving you my predictions for 2014-15 AFC South Division. And until next time, people, stay well.